Wow, that's a brilliant question. How I define success as a businessman or an entrepreneur in Ghana. Well, what I would say is that to define success means there is an achievement, and so as an entrepreneur, there is a goal you want to achieve that is able to solve the needs of the people you are. So what I would say as a success of an entrepreneur is one who is able to meet the needs of his people, and again is able to make profits. And the four traits of every successful entrepreneur has to do with one who is goal oriented. I must say that if you are not goal oriented, there's no way you can achieve or even succeed. So one, you need to be goal oriented. Also, you must have at the back of your mind that as an entrepreneur, definitely you need to work with people. So there should be that good relation. So that's a good human relation is one of the very good traits that can help your business. And you should have that going concern as an entrepreneur that you are in business not for today but also for years to come. So every good entrepreneur must have that going concern of his or her business. And lastly, what I'll talk about is that as an entrepreneur, you must position yourself to be competitive in the market. So you must have in mind competition, and beyond competition, you must stand out as a competitor. That is what I would say as the trait of an entrepreneur. Okay, so my key learning points in my entrepreneur journey, I must say that every entrepreneur encounters some, ups and downs, especially for startups. There were some, ups and downs when we began this whole process. But one of the things that has kept me going is my resilient, spirit, not giving up on what we have started. And so one of the lessons I've learned through is that as an entrepreneur, when there are ups and downs, especially when the downs come, you need to also position yourself to be able to overcome them. Again, you realize that as an entrepreneur, depending on the project or depending on the kind of business you are into, sometimes sources of funding or the quest for funding can also be frustrating. And so one of the things that helped me was to look for sources of funding from friends, and to some extent even partnership. So partnership really helped me. So I learned that if you find yourself in a position where sources of funding is becoming a challenge, one of the ways you can fall on is partnership. Partnership here too can also mean to have somebody partner you who may have the requisite skills. Okay, some may provide funding for you and be investors. Some also will provide technical or mechanical expertise that will help your business to grow. So I can say that these are the two things that I've really learned in my journey of being an entrepreneur. Okay, thank you very much. So what sustained us, that's myself and my team during our highs and low moments. Well, I would say that one has been the team spirit. The team spirit has always sustained us in a sense that we are in for a purpose. We are in to achieve a goal. And so that team spirit has always kept us on, even when we are faced with challenges. One thing we must also understand is that in our low and ups, what we also focus on is that we have similar businesses who have been through what we went through, and they were able to succeed. So we also pick clue from some of these companies who went through the same ladder as we are going through, and because they were able to succeed, we are able to get the hope that surely we too can be able to succeed as they did. Yeah, so one has been the team spirit that has kept us moving, and again some lessons we learned from those who are already in the existing industry. We learn from them, and we hope that we can equally succeed in our quest to do business. Wow, that's brilliant. So what informed our team formation process? I must say that one has to do with the fact that the whole team agrees or have share in the vision, or share in the goal we wish to achieve. And beyond that, we must also be able to understand that every team member is bringing something on the table. So one, sharing in the vision of the team, again individual contribution to the team, and our commitment is very key. So commitment too has really helped us over the years, and I must say that beyond commitment, we must also think of ways that every team member can help promote and project our business. Determine if your product or your service is market ready. I would say that you yourself must be able to determine the outcome of your service or the product. So if you are able to determine that it has gotten to the final stage of the outcome which you wish to have, then I believe that at that point, then your service or your product is ready to be on the market. Also, you must bear in mind that there are some services that will need certification from some governing bodies, and so if you have been able to meet all those governing bodies certifying your service or your product, if it is a food or beverages, then you need to have in mind meeting the certification from the Food and Drugs Authority. Likewise, if it is in the industry of banking or investment or any other field, then you need to ensure that you have met all those criteria, and if you have met them, then you are good to go. So you yourself know that your product is at the end point or at the point that is ready to be on the market whilst meeting other regulatory requirements. Thank you very much. Well, to scale into other markets with or without funding, it means that you are doing something good and you have as well met another need which you want to venture into those markets. One, you can rely on your credibility, the goodwill you have with your existing business can help you venture even into other businesses without any form of capital. So let's say, for instance, you are into the sale of, say, weaving smoke. Okay, so you have gained grounds in weaving smoke, and now you want to venture into other similar businesses. Because you have the goodwill, you may equally get people who are in the business arena who perhaps are also game players in that field you want to venture. I mean, talk to them, and with your goodwill you have at your end, I'm sure they can even help you and facilitate you being or facilitate you coming into their sector. So one, you must be able to have a credible record that you can fall on, and also partnership too can help you. If you are venturing into another business with or without finance, so with finance, yes, you can enter without when you have done your own feasibility studies, but without finance, then you may be thinking of falling on your goodwill, as well as thinking of partnership or seeking for funds to venture into such businesses. Okay, thank you very much. So in a Ghanaian context, three key things I believe every investor will be looking out for. Believe me, every investor is in to make profit, and so every investor will want to see whether that business he or she is investing in is a profit-oriented venture. Okay, so yes, there must be a profit-oriented venture. Again, investor will be looking out for the fact that that product or that business should be able to be of a help, that is a problem-solving investment. So you just don't, has to think of coming up with anything, but something that will come to solve a problem. And again, at the end of the day, the investor is looking at a long-term profit or a long-term standing relation with you. So if your business does not have a long-term future, then it means that the investor may be skeptical to invest in it. So one, the investor will be looking at a profit-oriented venture, again, to be able to meet a need in a society. And lastly, should also look into the long term, that they will be able to be in business for long. Okay, so my advice to startups hoping to raise their first funding is that they should not aim so big as a startup. Sometimes the vision is very big, the project you are working on is a huge project, so the expectations are sometimes high. But for a startup, you should bear in mind that you are a beginner in the arena of business, and therefore you should be able to work within the immediate resources they themselves have. It's very, very important that you should be able to fall on the funds you yourself have. Yes, it's very important. Again, you can also fall on family and friends. I must say that most of the times it will be family and friends who will help you promote your business. Yes, so family and friends is also one of the things that they must be able to look out for, so that they can be able to get some funds raised for their business. And probably they should look out for some of these investors who are ready to help startups. So they should make themselves available for some of these seminars and events and job exhibition and job fairs, so that they get to meet some of these investors who are willing to offer help. Then probably they can be able to seek help or financial support from those investors. Yes, thank you. Okay, so briefly, raising of funds for Lizard Advisory, I would say that largely has come from we the directors. Largely raising of funds has come from the directors, and because we were able to have some initial funds raised, it has helped us, and going forward we are also able to position ourselves such that we retain some of the profit we get in the firm to help us augment our capital base and to keep us in business. Thank you. Okay, so the main growth strategy that has worked for us, I must say, has to do with our quest to meet current needs or prevailing needs, I must say. And so you realize that we were once, my company was once Lizard Capital, but we realized that from that point of view we needed to rebrand ourselves, and now we are Lizard Advisory. So we have leveraged on our expertise in consultancy, and so one thing that has helped us over the period in terms of our strategy in growth is that we try as much as possible to tailor our service to the prevailing needs of our targeted customers. Again, too, we have been very innovative in our way of doing business. That has also helped us to grow strategically, and it has even positioned us very well. Partnership too has really helped us a lot. Partnership has helped us a lot. So as our partners are growing, we are also growing alongside with our partners. Thank you. Wow. So the fundamental pillars in building a startup. Fundamental pillars. Well, in building a startup, then it means that you should position yourself that you are in to make it. Okay, so you should have a positive orientation about the business you are coming up with. If you should be able to position yourself that you are in to make it as far as what you are starting is concerned, and you should also be ready for setbacks. Yes, so if you are ready for setbacks, it helps you for you to be poised to be able to overcome some of these setbacks that come your way. So one, you should have in mind that you have a positive spirit to make it even as a startup, and also bear in mind that there are setbacks as a startup, and position yourself such that you will be able to overcome those setbacks and still forge on to make it even as a startup. Thank you. Okay, so unique opportunities that exist for startups in the ecosystem. I would say that the world has moved to the world of technology. I must say, in 21st century, everything revolves around technology. So one of the unique opportunities that exists for every startup is to take up the advantage of the technology, the digital space. The digital space is so huge that every startup will find him or herself in there. I mean, we can talk about a lot who have taken advantage of these opportunities, and they are making it so great and big. I must say that even I learned that Zipline is a startup that happened, a startup in the USA, yes, but here in Ghana they are making it big because it has to do with technology. So yes, I would say that every startup should take advantage of the digital space and explore. I mean, in marketing, in e-commerce, in the area of health, in the area of education. I mean, virtual event management a whole lot. Agribusiness, there's a whole lot in the digital space that every startup can be able to take advantage of that. So I want to at this point recommend and endorse startups to be very, very mindful of the digital space and take that opportunity. Thank you. Okay, so unique component that an accelerator in Ghana can focus on. You see, every business must revolve around people. Okay, so as an accelerator, one thing you must have in mind is that you should be able to harness the expertise of the people you are working with. Then you can leverage on that to also excel in business. So I will say that you should be able to know the potentials you are working with, and on that level you will be able to leverage on it to be successful even in business. Thank you. Okay, the ideal thing for a startup, whether volume or value, the two speak for itself. Volume, you are looking at how, say, voluminous the whole work is. You can do so many things, but if it lacks the value and the quality that will meet the need of people, then I can say that you will not go anywhere. So I will advise that every startup or every business, beyond the volume of your business, you focus on the value, how quality your product is. Your product must come out with quality assurance, and with that quality assurance, I can tell you that people can vouch for your product and it will go far places. So value is very, very essential as far as your product or your business is concerned. Thank you. Okay, so my final words to new startups is that yes, every startup, as I earlier said, you have been able to come up with a solution that becomes your product that you are bringing on the market, and so you should be confident about the solution that you are bringing on board. And also bear in mind that even with the solution you are bringing on board as a startup, you at some point in time you will need some fine-tuning, and so you need to also get yourself connected to those who are already game players in the field of your business. It is very important. Sometimes if you think that you can succeed on your very own, on your very self, at some point in time you may break. So it is very good sometimes to also fall on those who are already in existing in the industry or the sector you want to venture. And also when it has to do with source of funding, as I've said earlier, try as much as possible to make some funds available yourself. And I must say that some startups don't really need so much before they start up. So don't aim so much as a fund or as a capital to start up, but make sure that you leverage on your credibility in whichever field you want to endeavor, and also when the need arises, you also think of partnership. But above all, what I want you to understand is that you are in to succeed, and so until you have succeeded, you need to keep on going and going until you are able to achieve the dream that you have set to achieve. Thank you very much.